Imagine waking up every single day believing the world is still at war, hiding deep inside a jungle for nearly 3 decades. This is not a legend. This is the true story of Hiroo Onoda, the Japanese soldier who continued fighting World War II for 29 years after it ended. Born in 1922 in Japan, Onoda grew up in a strict household where discipline, honor, and obedience were demanded, not suggested. Japan was preparing for war, and children like him were raised to believe that a soldier never surrenders. When World War II erupted, he was sent to a specialized guerrilla warfare school where he learned survival, deception, infiltration, and how to continue missions with no support and no end date. In 1944, at just 22 years old, Lieutenant Onoda was deployed to Lubang Island in the Philippines with terrifying orders: disrupt enemy operations, destroy supplies, gather intelligence, never surrender, never take his own life, and continue the mission even if Japan fell. When American forces invaded the island, Onoda and a small group of soldiers escaped into the dense jungle, promising each other they would return home as soldiers or not return at all. On August 15, 1945, World War II officially ended, but deep in the jungle, Onoda never heard the announcement and never received new orders, so to him the war continued. When leaflets were dropped saying the war was over, he dismissed them as enemy propaganda, exactly as his training had warned, and stepped deeper into isolation. For years he survived on coconuts, bananas, wild fruit, and stolen rice, building shelters from leaves and branches, learning every sound of the jungle, where even laughter and village celebrations felt like enemy traps. As months turned into years and years into decades, Onoda battled hunger, disease, exhaustion, and doubt. But every time he questioned whether the war had truly ended, his orders burned louder: never surrender, continue the mission. One by one, his companions disappeared. One surrendered, another was killed, another died in a skirmish, until Onoda was completely alone. Yet every morning he polished his rifle, and every night he patrolled the jungle like a ghost soldier, believing Japan would return for him. After 29 years of isolation in 1974, a young Japanese adventurer named Norio Suzuki entered the jungle searching for 3 things: a panda, a wild man, and Lieutenant Onoda. And against all odds, he found him. When Suzuki told Onoda that Japan had been searching for him, Onoda refused to surrender, insisting he would only stand down if ordered by his commanding officer. Suzuki returned to Japan, shocking the nation with the news that Onoda was alive, and Japan located his former commander, now an elderly man, and flew him to the Philippines. When the commander finally stood before Onoda and said the words he had waited 29 years to hear: "The war is over. You have done your duty. It is time to come home," Onoda lowered his rifle, and for the first time since 1945, the war ended for him. When he returned to Japan, some saw him as a hero of unbreakable loyalty, others as a tragic symbol of war. But Onoda himself simply said, "I did what I believed was my duty." He spent the rest of his life quietly, teaching survival skills and reflecting on the heavy cost of obedience, becoming a reminder that wars do not always end on the battlefield. If this story moved you, subscribe for more true World War II stories the world must never forget, and tell us in the comments: do you see Hiroo Onoda as a hero or as a tragic symbol of war?